Welcome, ladies and gents. Chris Andre here. You can find me at BetBoxing on Twitter for boxing-related tweets, or you can subscribe to the channel and get notifications whenever a new video is uploaded. I want to talk about Anthony Yarde again. So obviously this channel became significantly more successful thanks to Hatman. Thank you once again, Hatman. I hope you're having a wonderful Christmas and a great New Year period with your loved ones. He gave a shout out to my channel in general, really, and he asked people to subscribe, which I'm extremely grateful for. The first video, though, that he sort of suggested people go and check out, the thing that started the whole thing, was the defense I put out of Tunde Ajayi. I'll put down that video, the relevant video of mine, two relevant videos of mine regarding that fight, as well as Hatman's video, which discussed his views on the way the fight went and what should happen in regards to Tunde Ajayi, with regards to how Anthony Yarde goes forward from here, in the description box of this video. I'll also put up this interview. So there's a new interview, like I said, that's come out. Time for a change. Anthony Yarde talks to Lyndon Arthur on Anthony Yarde TV on YouTube, a new channel, which deals with all the questions that we've discussed. It deals with everything, basically. He's asked, can he have Tunde Ajayi as a trainer going forward? They discuss the right hand thing. Was Lyndon Arthur's right hand injured? Now, I'm not going to give too many things away. It's a 33-minute interview. You need to go check that out. But one area that I think conclusively suggests, I'm going to use the word proves, but it conclusively suggests that a lot of the rumours out there about Tunde were not true, and the idea that he hurt his hand, Lyndon Arthur, the evidence doesn't stack up. So it shows Tunde Ajayi tell Anthony Yarde. It shows the corner. You can hear them. They've magnified the speaking in the corner. It shows Tunde Ajayi point out, I think he's hurt his right hand. Anthony Yarde explains that somebody had told Tunde that. So a lot of people might say, yeah, well, Tunde didn't notice it himself. Regardless, they had that information. They relayed it to Anthony. And Anthony said what I said. He just can't land the right hand. His right hand's fine. Then in the very next round, he said he did land the right hand, Lyndon, and it hurt. So he thought, okay, he has got his right hand. It also shows the corner of Lyndon Arthur, whereby Pat Barrett is telling him, you've got to let go of the right hand. You've got to give him something to think about. And he's saying, I can't land it. He's not saying I can't throw it. He's not saying I've hurt my hand. He's saying I can't land it, which links in with the post-fight interview where he talks about Anthony Yarde having a very good defense and he was unable to land the right hand. And that narrative changed. It was prompted, I believe. He was prompted to change. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from Lyndon Arthur. They put in a brilliant performance. Pat Barrett, they did a great job. But it does lay to rest, in my opinion, a lot of the critique about, well, why didn't Tunde notice and why didn't Anthony capitalise on it? And if Lyndon Arthur had a right hand, he would have battered Anthony and all that. It lays that to rest. Please go check out that interview. Rather than focus only on that interview, I want to go back to what Anthony Yarde should do now going forward. Because we've spoken about, like I said, I'm going to put Hatman's interview video here as well. We've spoken, we've had an exchange, we both gave our views on how he should approach the fight game, essentially, what he should do going forward, Anthony Yarde. I'm going to get in a little bit more sort of technical detail in this video. Certain things I believe he has to do. I was looking back at the Kovalev fight for Anthony Yarde, and I was looking also back at the Pat Barrett fight in the 12th round when he hurt Barrett. And there were a couple of moments when Barrett was sort of falling into him and Anthony was trying to create space and he was landing some shots. Barrett was sort of falling into him and there were moments where he was a little bit too close to Anthony. And Anthony was sort of flicking, he was almost landing with the inside part of the left glove when he was trying to throw left hooks. He couldn't really create that space on the inside. He'd already hurt Barrett, but he couldn't find that space to really land those clean shots. One of the things I'd love to see Anthony Yarde do is work on his positioning of his arms when he's on the inside. In other words, if you're going to work on getting inside, once you start landing those big shots, there's going to have to be certain things you're going to do to ensure that you're not smothered, okay? And one of the things I'd love to see him do is use that forearm just across the face of the opponent. Just put it there. As he goes to hold you, that head control. Have that forearm. If you accidentally catch the guy with an elbow, who's going to say anything? You're not throwing the elbow out. You clip him, you cut him. So what? That's another advantage. It sounds horrible to say, but this is the reality. Canelo Alvarez, Floyd Mayweather, they are masters at using the forearm. Okay, using that head control, using the forearm when someone tries to close the range on them. One of the things that it's one of Floyd's most potent weapons, defensively speaking, because he has that ability to keep you at range. And then when you do try and bum rush him, you're running into an elbow or a forearm. Now, the same thing applies with Canelo Alvarez. You could see it quite often against Callum Smith as well. Smith would try and come in, try and smother him, grab him. And you'd see Canelo has this thing where he rubs himself in Vaseline as well, which makes it hard to grip the guy. How do you grip a guy? You're going to be slipping everywhere. He's rubbing his chest and his arms in Vaseline. It's hard to get underhooks. It's hard to hold a guy who's small and pushing you off when you're oiled up, essentially. But apart from that, having that forearm just across here, having that forearm just across the face of the opponent, just to push their head back as they're trying to grab you. So imagine you've got your forearm across the left side of my face, I'm trying to grab you, and you're pushing my head back here. It's hard for me to generate that leverage. It also creates space between me and your right hand. So if your left hand is the one that's got your across my face, and I'm trying to hold you because I've been hurt, and I push you away, not only am I keeping you off balance, it's now creating that space for me to shoot down that right hand from a downwards position. Okay, you're not here where I'm sitting in, I'm trying to rotate to land shots. Your face is further away now, and I can shoot downwards with my own shot. Okay, he's got to work on that, in my opinion, using the forearm to control a man's head when he's trying to tie up Anthony Yarde. That's obviously once he's inside. The other thing that Anthony Yarde, in my opinion, has to work on is he can learn a lot from Canelo, in my opinion. Canelo Alvarez could be a guy he could learn a lot from. With Canelo, like we spoke about in the post-fight analysis of Callum Smith, I'll also put that video. So I'm going to have like 5 links in the description box to this video. Anyone that's not seen them or that needs a refreshing, please check them out. Canelo is very, very good at creating pressure with his feet. He'll shift his weight onto his back foot often, and his front foot will always just sort of tiptoe in range, just come into range. And you're not sure, is he coming in? Is he not coming in? And he'll have his hands up here, so he'll have quite a solid defense. He's compact, he's low, and he'll lean forward as he's doing it. And as he leans forward, as he steps back, he can shoot a jab. He doesn't always come in to shoot the jab, which you'll be able to read the pattern. Sometimes he will. Other times he'll come in and off the beat. So he'll come in, and as he's pulling out, he'll shoot the jab as he's pulling out, which makes him very, very hard to read. As he's coming in, he'll shoot that left hook. That thing he did where he threw, it's become famous. I made it the thumbnail for the analysis of the Callum Smith fight, where he sort of pretends to throw an over the top right hand, and as his hand goes up in the air, he then shoots an uppercut through the middle. As he does that, the reason he does that is because he's shaping up to throw an over the top right hand. He throws so many that the opponent thinks, uh-oh, an over the top right hand's coming, and his hands come up to his head. So as his hands come up to his head, he's open on the inside, and that's when the uppercut, he'll come on the outside of that, the outside, the right hand protection, the right hand guard. He'll slip on the outside of that and shoot the uppercut through the middle. Now, that's one example. Another thing he hit Triple G with, he was dipping to the left and landing left hooks to the body. He dipped as though he was going to land a left hook to the body and instead came upstairs. And that was the thing he landed on Kovalev before the right hand straight knockout. He dips as though he's going to come with a left hook to the body, comes with a left hand upstairs. Anthony Yarde needs to start working on those two things. Firstly, the foot pressure. How he's going to work on shifting his weight onto his back foot, but constantly moving forward. What you saw against Lyndon Arthur was a lot of posturing, a lot of moving in and out, and he did take away the right hand. Just like I said in that video, I stand by that. It's been reinforced by this interview and the zooming in and listening to what was said in the corners. Lyndon Arthur did not hurt his right hand. He's very good at changing the levels, twisting in and out, being just out of range to take away that right hand, especially because he's willing to, he's doing all this movement, he's willing to rise up with a left hook. So if you commit and hold your feet too long to twist and rotate with the right hand, you're staying in that pocket of space where he can reach you with a wide left hook. So he took away the right hand. However, by being up and down and sideways here, he wasn't gaining ground. And by not gaining ground, a guy can say, okay, I've got a longer reach than you. I will not come into your space. You're right, it's dangerous for me to come there. I don't need to throw my right hand. I'll do a Vladimir Klitschko. I'll just shoot my jab and I'm out of range. You want to stay there and not close the range on me? That's cool. He's got to work on being able to do what he's currently doing while applying that foot pressure. And you can do that by shifting your weight onto your back foot and stepping in with your front foot. So that, and that slight movement of back and forth, lure him in. Have that constant foot pressure. Sometimes land a shot, sometimes don't. Make a guy not sure about what's coming, but by the fact that you're constantly shifting slowly into range, it's educated foot pressure. And what that will do is force an opponent to think, right, I have to act. Do I punch? Do I move? You're in a constant state of panic. You're in a constant state, I know this guy hits hard. I can't just sit there and not react to the feints, because these foot feints, these upper body shoulder feints, if I'm not reacting to them and he does throw a punch, I could get hurt. So all of a sudden you're constantly on edge. It's like an immune system, right? An immune system that is constantly on alert and reacting is essentially autoimmune disease. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't have an illness in your body, but your immune system's thinking there's something going on here, and it's constantly on full blown and it's reacting. And that's an autoimmune disease. It destroys the body. Well, mentally speaking, in a boxing ring, you want to get the guy to be in autoimmune disease mode, where he's thinking there's a constant threat there, even if there isn't. You could be taking a breather, but he feels under threat. And if he does then start to say, you know what, I don't feel under threat anymore, that's when you punish him. So that was the first thing of those two things I mentioned, or the third thing, but of that latter two, the foot pressure and the feints, the setups, that's the other thing he's got to think about. How to start investing in specific shots that will make a guy think, right, he's wanting to throw this shot. So we know he throws that wide left hook upstairs. Start throwing it downstairs a little bit. Change up where the destination of the shot ends up without changing your body shape. So when you're looking for those leaping left hooks, start throwing them to the body. Eventually they'll take their toll. You start busting up a guy's rib. Just as he starts to dip, like Golovkin did, or Kovalev, they both dipped at one point to block off with using the elbow, that left hook. You've shaped up, you've come upstairs, you land the flush left hook, you can change the course of the fight. Okay? This sort of approach won't work with every fighter, because it's about investing to land something big. You have to have the punching power to be able to change the course of a fight by landing one punch. Anthony Yarde has that. So now it's more about how do you consistently land shots while still creating traps. And those are the sort of things he needs to work on. How to land shots, a variety of shots in other words, while shaping up to throw them in the same way, so that the tail is the same for 3 different shots. So you know a shot's coming from the left side, but you don't know where it's coming, where the destination of that shot will end. That's another thing Anthony Yarde needs to work on. We also spoke, obviously, with Hatman about the raiding style. He's a very athletic guy, Anthony Yarde. He's not just this muscular, top-heavy guy who can't move. I suspect stamina issues there as well. Okay, I don't think he's the sort of guy he's not a Mo Farah. He's a Usain Bolt. He's not the sort of guy that can run 10,000 meters. He's the sort of guy that could run 100 meters, for argument's sake. He's an explosive, fast twitch athlete. So what I would want to see from Anthony Yarde in terms of another wrinkle to his game is that raiding style where he gets on the outside and he's able to posture, take a breather. Because this one thing, when you've got a stamina issue, you want to be able to control the tempo. You want to be able to dictate the tempo and dictate when you exchange with someone. Be on the outside. You don't always have to apply that foot pressure, and then work on feinting and jumping in with lead power shots. Think David Hay. Long power shots. I'd want to see him working on how to get in quickly, feint his way in basically at different angles, how to step in and know when to step into the pocket and lead with a long shot. Not just short shots, but a long power shot. Get into a situation where you're either walking a guy down and you've got that pressure, or you're all the way on the outside and jumping in and landing something big. That way, nobody will feel safe against you at any moment in time. Are you on the outside? You know, the guy's not going to feel safe because you could do a David Hay and jump in. Are you walking him down? The guy's not going to feel safe because he never knows when that threat's coming. Is he going to try and tie you up? Now you've worked on how to create head control, to create space on the inside, to work on the inside. He's never going to feel safe. No guy's going to be invincible, obviously, but just that nervous energy is going to create an awful lot of openings and more wrinkles to Anthony Yarde's game. With regards to Tunde, he's spoken about he's going to have to sit down and talk with Tunde, he said, and Adi and the rest of his team. So obviously they're going to talk about what's going forward. There's nothing wrong with bringing in another guy, okay? He does talk about, again, something that I mentioned in my video, that it was also Tunde's first big step up, the Kovalev fight, at a big stage. So although he's been around in the corner, he'd been working with Chisora in the past, he was facing his own pressures, and he reacted that night in the same way that Anthony Yarde had reacted. Okay, so they're both learning from that journey. There's nothing wrong with bringing in another voice, with Tunde staying as a... So I got the hiccups. Sorry. With Tunde staying as head coach. I'm not saying you got to get rid of Tunde at all. Work on these things, Bring someone else in, maybe, if you're both willing to do it, and see where it goes from there. But there's a lot of talent here for Anthony Yarde. There's a lot of potential, and I like the fact that he's reflective of this, and he's able to speak about it and recognize the things recognize that some changes need to be made. These are the changes I would suggest he needs to work on. And I have to say one more thing. He had 4 bereavements in the family this year, guys. That's a big deal, man. That's a big deal. Having to focus, he was very close with his grandmother by all accounts. Having to focus on fighting, on the sport, because it's not just about getting in the ring. It's about getting to the gym every day, having that wherewithal to study your opponent, to be able to look at yourself, to reflect, to really give everything you have. When you are emotionally broken or suffering, it's a very, very difficult thing to go through. So I do expect Anthony Yarde to bounce back. If he implements these things, I believe we could see a really different Anthony Yarde, a more dangerous Anthony Yarde. Let me know what you think, guys. What do you think of this interview that he's put out? And also, are there any other things you think he should work on apart from what I've spoken about and what Hatman spoke about? Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. God bless. Chat to you soon.